everybody, how are you? This is Nancy Reynolds, Stampin' with Nutsy, and I wanted to show you this lovely card before we get started. It is an Easel card. Here it is closed, and you see it stands up, and it's using the Delicate Desert stamp set. I'm actually using the suite. I'm using the stamps, dies, embellishments, and the paper. So I am excited to share with you today. I hope everybody's doing well. Let's see. I'm just going to find myself because in groups I can't see who is commenting. Ah, Lori found me. I am so glad. Okay, I'm just going to open this up, make it larger, so I can actually read the comments. Oh, so nice to see you. Anyway, we are going to get started. I think we're going to stamp the bits and pieces first and then put it all together. And thank you so much, Cindy. I'm glad you like it. Let's see. We have, basic white seemed a little bit too stark to me, so I went with Very Vanilla for the envelope. I have some scrap paper of the Designer Series paper, which may I say is lovely. As you can see, I've been playing with mine a lot. It is the Delicate Desert 12x12 Designer Series paper. I have got soft Succulent and Calypso Coral for my colors. Scraps. Scraps are important in this card, so I've got both my scraps out. And then, oh, the piece de resistance is the dry brushed metallic paper. It's gorgeous. And as you know, I like to cut my paper in, because I've probably said this before, I like to cut my paper in half at 6 inches. And then I cut 4 inches and 4 inches, which is a third and a third and a third. So I've got 6 card fronts when I'm done. It doesn't matter whether you're imperial or metric. It's just metric might take a little more trimming in a couple areas. So here's my soft Succulent, Calypso Coral. Got another little scrap piece. Oh, and the cool thing about this paper is, of course, it's double-sided. So we're going to use both sides. I used a scrap piece, and I cut out the smallest of the dies in the set. So these are the dies we're going to use. I borrowed this from the Basic Border set because I thought the zigzag went really well with our desert theme. We're going to use the intricate die here, the flower. I've got the smaller of the 2 layering dies and the larger. We're using both of those. And let me show you what I did with the large one. Since I have a piece of the Designer Series paper out, so I just put this on. I tried to center it so there would be about the same on all sides, because I might want to use that as a frame one of these days. And then I'll have a little bit left over. That's important, because that's what I'm using to cut the border on. And I'm going to show you how I did that. So here's my little leftover piece. I'm taking my zigzag border, lining it up, and then I ran it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss. I think I didn't do it quite that high up. And I used both pieces on the card, which you will see in just a moment. So we have our Designer Series paper, more for stamping. This is our piece that I cut, the piece I cut out with the larger layering die. And out of the middle, I cut out, because it's going to be covered. So why don't we get the most out of our paper by cutting the die for one of our pieces out right from the middle. So we've got that done. Takes us to the card base. which is just a standard card base. I did it 5.5 by 8.5, but I turned it to be more of the hot dog look instead of the hamburger. And it is 14.9 centimeters by 21 centimeters, and then it's just scored in two places. It's scored at 5.5 and 2 3/4, or 5.3 and 10.5 centimeters. So there we go. We have our card. And as you can see, you just fold this and we've got our easel. Very simple and easy. And I have a piece of Calypso Coral, which we're going to stamp on. This is on the front of our card. It's what we will mount our pieces on and build our focal point. And 2 pieces of the Designer Series paper. And this time, when I cut my paper, I just cut one long 12-inch strip, and I'm just using it. We're going to do something a little different. Normally, we don't put Designer Series paper on the back of the card. Let's see how I can get that to show you. There it is. But since Designer Series cardstock is two-sided, I made a stamping mistake. Oh my. And when I flipped it over, I didn't stop and think that it would show on the back of the card. And it did. So I put a piece of Designer Series paper over it. And I thought, as long as we were doing that, we should probably just start out by putting a piece on the back. It makes a nice sturdy base. And then I am using the Designer Series paper for the inside also. It just seemed like a nice idea. It's light enough to write on. It's pretty. Everything matches. We are going matchy-matchy today, I tell you. So, let me plug my phone in. I just see that my cord is sitting right here, which is kind of silly. It would not be good if the power went out and my phone wasn't plugged in. So we're going to stamp first. I'm going to take some of these things out of the way. I did not cut these out, stamp and cut these out ahead of time. So I'll bring the new pretty boho blue stamp and emboss machine, the mini one, over and show it to you. I believe I put away all my inks the other day because I had so many of them out. So let me get soft succulent. Here it is. Whoops. We'll open this up. I'm going to take our large flower and stamp one. Laura, you're ordering this on Monday? I think this is a great suite. I really like it. So let's stamp one flower. And then we're going to stamp the second flower because we'll need a little one for our holder to keep our easel in place. There we are. And you know what? As long as it's sitting here all in one piece, I think I'm going to do the play with the Winkostella right now. And I'm just dabbing it on because I really don't want any color to move. And I didn't allow a lot of drying time. But it's a flower, and it needs Winkostella. Because in my opinion, flowers should be sparkly. I'll wait and do the big one after I've cut it out. So we're going to set this aside to cut out. I think I don't need these, so I'll set those aside. We are going to emboss our sentiment in gold. And as Tracy was saying earlier, it is wonderful that we have the embossing kit with the tray and the embossing buddy. So here we are. I'm going to run the embossing buddy over the top here. Grab my sentiment. You are what sunshine feels like. Now, if you got that as Happy Mail, wouldn't that make you happy? Oh, thank you, Terry. I'm glad you like the card. Oh, hi, Kim. Good to see you. Okay, here we are. Stamped it down. Always put the top on your Versamark because you really don't want gold embossing powder in it, or white embossing powder, or black, or any embossing powder in it. So here we are. Just going to put my gold embossing powder, tap it off, and then we make the magic happen. Tracy showed you how easy it was to put this all back, so I am not going to show you. I will do that later. I am going to hope that my heat gun will reach. Oh, so that you can see the magic. I just love watching it melt. It makes me happy. Oh, it's starting to go. I don't know, can you see that change? It goes from that kind of ugly, grainy look to a pretty shiny gold. I'll try not to knock that on the floor again. But I'll hold this up here, see? Isn't that pretty? And if you should see, when you're holding it in the light, if you see any that's still a little matte looking, then just give it a little more heat. I'm using our double oval punch. And I'm going to punch this out and then set it aside for a moment. Let's see, how's that looking? Oh, I see hearts. Thank you so much. I'm going to put this aside and get our Calypso Coral out. So here's where I made my mistake. I will also get my Calypso Coral ink. I just really got too carried away cleaning up the other day. But in my defense, I will say that I had quite a mess. And so what I want to do is get something to stamp on. You don't need the cush, but I do need the extra paper because I'm going to make a little bit of a mess. I used the Aztec looking stamp. And I'm going to stamp across the top. I didn't get that quite as high as I did last time, but I think it'll be okay. Well, it is two-sided, and we're going to put paper on the back, so let's go ahead and try that one again. I'm going to stand up and look over the top. There. I think that's a little better. And we'll do the other side. We'll do the two ends. And then I will tell you about my stamping mistake. And it really would have been okay. It didn't look horrible. But what I did then is I just turned and I stamped these two ends and decided that what I would really rather have is have them masked off. And it would be kind of so they don't cross over each other. It didn't, like I said, it didn't look horrible. It just wasn't the look I wanted. Okay, so here we go. I am sorry that I am shaking you. I have a shorter stand for my phone, and it sits on the desk, not on the floor. So there we go. And then we'll mask this side and stamp one more time. Hi, Shirley. Yep, two-sided. But I didn't quite think that one through when this other side was going to show. But you know what that does? When we have those stamping accidents, it gives us an opportunity to be more creative. And so I'm going to just take one of these backs and put it on the back of our card. I would probably use Tombow. Well, maybe I'll try Tombow. I think my Tombow is running really, really low. Not bad at all. Then I will put it together. If it cooperates. A little bit shows at the top, so I'll take my scissors. We'll trim that off. I know one thing we didn't stamp. I forgot to stamp the envelope. And all I did, this is such a pretty stamp. I love the distinctive stamps that we have. So I just inked up in my soft succulent and stamped the corner. There, now we'll have a pretty envelope when our card is done. Now we have a little tiny bit of cutting to do. Isn't this cute? Have you ever seen a prettier color stamp and emboss machine? Since the only other color is white, that answer might be no. Unless you really don't like boho blue. But I do like it. I remember liking it when it was one of our in colors. And the good news is it's going to be a color that's coming back. Now, I know I stamped those. And I'm going to need to cut them down so that they will fit. See? It's not too hard to get these lined up. I've got a little tiny bit of washi tape, which I have totally destroyed. So I'll get another roll of washi tape. You can tell which are the leaves, which really does help. Okay. Let's just do a nice piece of washi tape here, over the top. Make sure that we are centered correctly. Okay. We're turning it. And I'd really like the washi tape not to be on the flower, because every once in a while I find a piece of washi tape that's got a little too much sticky to it. And here's our large one. Me and my sticky notes, I tell you, I don't think I could live without them. And again, it's pretty easy to line these up because the leaves kind of stand out as being pointier. Put that there. One on this side. Put a top on and roll it through. Now again, I apologize if I'm shaking you. I do not mean to do that. And that is how easy it is to use these machines. It could not be easier. Okay, that's a little messy. We're just going to set it aside. I'll take care of it later. Here are our flowers. We'll get these out of the way. Now I think we can start assembling. Let's take our zigzagged pieces. And the first thing I did was I put this piece on. And I thought, oh, I like that. And then I looked at the piece I had cut off and I thought, I like that even better. So here we are with the, that was a bit much. Isn't that a pretty, pretty pattern? Okay. I know the other piece is sitting here. The one that goes on the top, because I have moved it already once today. Well, I guess I love the way things hide in plain sight. Does that happen to you too? If you see it anywhere, would you tell me? That's crazy. So I'm not going to worry about it because I know I'll find it later. I'm just going to put this on because we need to finish this up because I need to get set up to show you my tip. Sticky. So we'll put this on. There we go. You'll notice the bottom is built up to hold. We'll do that in a minute. That's what this is for. I wish to have, I found things. They were hiding in the envelope. There we go. I'm happier now. I learned a trick this weekend. I was watching a demonstrator, and we're going to try it. She takes her Tombow and she just makes little dots when she wants to put things down. And then she sets it aside to dry because it dries sticky. And then she puts them on like little stickers. I just thought that was the cutest thing. So I wanted to share that little bit of information I learned. Okay, I do like this. I think this at the top adds a lot. So there we are. For our main focal piece, we're just going to flat mount everything because it's a busy moving little card. So first, we've got our, it's a little straighter at the top. Let's do it this way. Our first focal piece, or the first layer, and now we're going to go with our second layer. I think I'm going to go with the Tombow. What do you think? That it might stick a little bit better? To the metallic. And I do like having the lighter side at the top. Now you will notice that I cut the scalloped edge off of these, both. So what I did was I took my scissors and I cut down the middle of the soft succulent. I took and I put just an edge of glue. And I wanted to use the Tombow because I really want a little bit of time to fuss with it, to move it into place. Or as I think, was it Shirley who said you zhuzh it, or Tracy, you zhuzh it a little. I wanted just a little bit of the soft succulent to set it off because I was afraid that being the same color, it wouldn't stand out on the background. So we'll do the same here. And because I did such a small one, you really don't see it at the side that I played with it. There we are. Our sentiment is complete. Just put a little glue on it. And I thought, because of the size and because I was feeling a little playful, an angle would be good. The other thing that goes on the front is our... Yep, Shirley said that's what she says, but no one is spelling it. No, let's not spell it. Spelling today has not been my good thing, so I've been working for the past few weeks, subbing for a friend, an administrative assistant in the school district, and may I say that it amazes me how bad my typing has gotten. I have typed 7s when I should have typed 6s. And let's just put our flower down on top. Call that good while it's right in front of us and flat and a little drier. Let's paint on a little wink of Stella. I think my wink of Stella is a little dry. Oh, now it's not. I'll get some of that off before I continue on. Well, you know, the sparklier the better. That's what I say. And I think we'll do the leaves, these little outsides, and make sure this has lots of sparkle. There we are. We are sparkled up. Now, the key to putting this on is to watch where you're putting your adhesive. You only want it on this part. So what I like to do is turn it over so I can see where I want the adhesive. And just put it on that area. There we are. Just take and put it down. Gluing the whole card together would be a bad thing. And we've got our inside done. We have our envelope done. We have the card basically done. So let's go ahead and work on our stopper. Let's go on. It's a doorstop. When I am using my smaller one, I do like to get it. I don't want to waste too much paper. This will waste a little. But there's my little one. And then I need one more of the scallop circles. And of course, we are using this side. We're going to put just our Calypso Coral in the middle. It's a little plain right now. We will fix that. Let's see, and then my little flower, which we know is here because you watched me cut it out. There it is. I am going to put that up on dimensionals. And I want to make sure I have a good sturdy spot for it. But I do need to leave a bit at the edge so that it can kind of tuck under. I actually think that when I did mine, that I did 2, just to make sure it would be well supported. And here he goes, right in the middle. I just flat mounted it because the flower is going to be our support, our doorstop. There we are. Let's go right there. Our doorstop is in place. And what is left? Well, let me tell you. In this suite are these wonderful flat sequins, and they're gold, and they're beautiful. They're gold faceted adhesive backed. And I have been having fun playing with them. I wasn't sure what to do with these little half moons until I saw this little spot, and I thought, oh, perfect. That's perfect for half moons. And then we'll take a small one here, and maybe, I actually prefer the smaller ones, but we'll put one bigger one down here. We have 3, well, there we are. There is our card, all finished. We have our envelopes, and we are done. There. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad you liked the tip, Kim. And I want to say thank you for joining me. I'll be back with a little tip video later, and just probably after I clean this up because it's really messy. Anyway, until I see you again, woohoo! Right, woohoo weekend. Happy crafting, everybody. Bye-bye.